I love it when science meets art, and it does today. I absolutely adore Suminagashi, the ancient Japanese art of floating ink on water to produce these mesmerizing marbled effects. Every time I demonstrate it, I usually get a comment of, "Oh, I've given it a go and my ink doesn't float." And that's a problem. People say, "Is it my ink?" And no, it probably isn't your ink. It's probably your water. So in this video, I just want to show you why water is so important and give you a very simple trick for helping your ink float. My name's Liz Chatterton. I'm a watercolour artist based in Berkshire, but I love Suminagashi, especially when it's as hot as this. Playing with ink and water, I'm in heaven. I live in the Thames Valley and our water is notoriously hard. You can see that the ink is floating. Suminagashi literally means floating ink. It's very ancient, like 1,000-year-old Japanese craft, and it used to be done for the background of manuscripts. And it's different from Turkish marbling, which uses thickened water. Suminagashi just uses ordinary water with floating sumi ink, and on my other brush I've got soapy water that repels the ink and forms the white circles. If you've never seen Suminagashi done before, I've got a total beginner's guide, so I'll put a link to that video. And you create those patterns. You can manipulate it just by wafting air across. Use a little skewer just to create eddies and patterns should you wish to, or you can let the pattern just develop from the environment from where you are, and then traditionally use a piece of raw rice paper when you're happy with the pattern. Let's create a few little bits of white space. This is quite dark. Oh, that's too much. Didn't mean to do that. Well, see, they always say that you don't do Suminagashi. You allow Suminagashi to happen. So I will allow that to happen. Then you put your paper on top. If you've got, can you see these little air bubbles? If you get air bubbles between the paper and the water, it won't print properly. So you can just tap them to get rid of them. And you end up with a print. Ooh, that's stuck. I'll be careful so I don't rip it. So that was straight out of the tap. Let's swap water baths. I am now pouring distilled or demineralized water into the, oops, ignore that, edit that out. So just as I had hard water before, now I've got distilled water. You can buy distilled water or demineralized water, but actually I use the water that I collect from a dehumidifier that we've got running in the house on occasions. And what I want you to see is how the ink moves on the surface. So we just touch it very gently, and it is a little bit more lively than the hard water. It goes a little further. It also seems to stay a little rounder maybe when it first goes. It doesn't shrink back. What I find with hard water, it spreads and then it comes back. Here's the science bit. The high concentration of calcium and magnesium in hard water creates a rigid surface tension, and it binds too tightly, causing the sumi ink to clump, struggle to spread, or to sink directly to the bottom. Soft water, on the other hand, has a more flexible baseline surface tension, so that allows the ink to float effortlessly. This isn't about making those patterns, this is about the effect of water. So let's print one, same paper, same process, place it down The water won't make a difference to the print, it just makes a difference to the way the ink moves. I'll put that to one side to dry. But you might be thinking, oh, I can't afford to buy distilled water for this. Oh, that's a faff. Well, the third option that works really well is good old rainwater. If you've got a water butt, it falls from the sky and it is not hard water that's coming out of your taps. So let's just see how well rainwater works. And I just use a bit of newspaper to skim off any impurities, because potentially I might have a few creepy crawlies living in this. I got this out of our water butt, so it may not be the most pure thing in the world. Can you see how far those circles are going? This is our rainwater. And there are artists, do look them up on Instagram or TikTok or probably here on YouTube, who do Suminagashi in puddles. They travel the world and use the rainwater in puddles, and it makes an imprint of that moment in time. And you might be thinking, oh, they're polluting the world with their ink. But actually, these inks are made from soot, carbon, and natural gums, so they're all biodegradable and non-damaging, so do not fret about that. And they make prints of that place, and nothing is repeatable. You cannot, me talking here affects the print, whether the temperature of the water, the temperature of the surrounds, how much breath there is, how much I touch the surface, all means that every single print is unique and beautiful. I'd actually rather like this area over here. So this is our rainwater, and I can just put my paper there, take it out, and I've got my amazing print. So if you fancy doing Suminagashi but are concerned that your ink starts to sink, it could be your water. I hope we've solved your ink floating problems, but maybe the next issue you're having is that your prints come out grey rather than really nice dark black and white. That's probably down to your paper. So watch out for my next review when I show you how to choose papers that will give you really dark prints. And look out for the video where I'll give you a simple trick from turning your print from this to this without changing the ink, without changing the water, without changing the paper. It's all down to alum, so look out for that video.